Stop scrolling, lock in, because in the next 20 minutes, I am going to walk you through one of the most quietly disturbing patterns I have ever traced on this platform. And once your eyes adjust to what you are about to see, you will not be able to look away from it on anybody's timeline ever again. What is unfolding around Claressa Shields right now is not a celebrity moment. It is not a fling. It is not a phase. It is a documented, traceable, almost surgical unraveling of one of the most decorated women in American sports history. And the worst part, the part that should make every woman watching this sit up a little straighter, is that the weapon doing the damage is the same device sitting in your hand right now. Stay with me, because by minute 3, I am going to show you the exact moment the mask slipped. By minute 8, I am going to hand you a pattern you cannot debunk. And by the end of this report, you are going to understand why this story is not really about Claressa at all. It is about you. And before the comment section reaches for the torches, let me draw a line in the sand. This is not a takedown. This is a case file. Claressa Shields is a generational athlete, two-time Olympic gold medalist, undisputed champion across multiple weight classes, a woman who fought her way out of one of the hardest zip codes in America with nothing but a pair of taped knuckles and a refusal to lose. So when I tell you something is wrong, deeply wrong, I am not speaking as a hater. I am speaking as a witness, because what I have been recording on my own private timeline for the last several weeks is not bravado. It is not boss energy. It is a slow-motion implosion of a public image, and the architect of the demolition is the very woman whose name is on the building. She is holding the wrecking ball. She is calling the swing self-expression, and every fan who claps for it is helping her tear another floor down. Let me set the scene like a news anchor, because that is what this story deserves. Over the past several weeks, Claressa Shields has entered what I can only describe as a tagging campaign. Not posting, tagging. There is a difference. The Shade Room, Neighborhood Talk, every gossip aggregator with a logo and a posting calendar has been pinged, mentioned, dragged into her orbit by her own hand. She posts, she deletes, she reposts, she subliminals, she rebuts the subliminal, she apologizes, she doubles down, she bounces from Snapchat to Instagram to TikTok to X and back to Snapchat in a single afternoon, like a one-woman press tour for a movie nobody asked to see. And when you trace every single one of those posts back to its emotional source, the road always ends at the same intersection: Papoose, Remy, repeat. The same 3 names spinning on a broken loop in an empty room while the woman dancing in the middle keeps insisting the party is real. And here is where the journalist in me has to stop and ask the question every other channel is too cowardly to put on camera. Why does an undisputed world champion need a gossip blog to validate her existence? I want you to actually feel that question before I move on. A woman with Olympic gold, a woman with her own film, a woman who shook hands with a sitting president. Why is she paying, and yes, I said paying, to slide her face into a comment section run by strangers? Because here is the dirty secret the casual viewer has never been told. Those big blogs are not journalism. They are billboards with a price tag. There is a rate sheet. There is a Cash App handle. There is a DM that ends with a smiley face and a payment window. The minute you understand that, you stop watching a champion sharing her truth, and you start watching a woman renting a stage to perform for one specific man who will not look up from his phone long enough to clap. That is not confidence. That is a receipt with her own name printed at the top. Now, hold on, because here comes the angle nobody else on this app has the nerve to articulate, and this is the lens I want you to carry into the rest of this investigation. The internet is calling this desperation. Desperation is the lazy diagnosis. Desperation is the surface. What we are actually witnessing is something colder, sharper, and far more revealing. This is a public audition. Claressa is not posting for fans. She is not even posting for her own career. She is auditioning in real time in front of millions of strangers for the eyes of one man who is not giving her the front row seat she thought the relationship promised.
Every blog tag is a missing person flyer stapled to a streetlight. Every selfie is a knock on a door with the chain still locked. Every caption is a love letter she is reading to herself in the mirror at 3 in the morning, hoping he finally hears it through the wall. Once your brain processes that frame, you cannot return to the old one. The story restructures itself in front of you. Watch the women who are actually winning the relationships they are in. Watch them carefully. Their pages are quiet. Their pages are confident. Their pages are almost dull. Chosen women are not slipping into blogger DMs at midnight. Chosen women are not subliminally addressing somebody's ex-wife who has not breathed their name in months. Chosen women are not screenshotting their own relationship like it is evidence in a custody trial. The loudest woman online is almost always the loneliest woman behind the front door. And that is not a cutie original. That is the unwritten constitution of the timeline. Claressa is currently writing the most expensive footnote that constitution has ever seen, and the bibliography reads like a gossip blog price list. The textbook is glass, and glass houses do not tag. Glass houses just reflect. Now, let me layer the Papoose factor in, because if we skip this, we miss the whole architecture. Papoose is not a blank canvas. He is a man with a long, public, well-documented history. He had a marriage. He has children. He had a partnership with Remy that the culture watched bloom, struggle, evolve, and stand for over a decade on national television. Whether anybody likes it or not, in the public's mind, that emotional real estate still exists, and no amount of cute hotel hallway clips can flatten it. So every time Claressa pokes at it, every time she tags around it, every time she repackages her relationship as a headline, she is not staking territory, she is broadcasting how unstable the soil under her own feet really is. Because secure people do not pour fresh concrete on the same patch every morning. You pour the foundation once, you let it dry, you build the house. You do not live stream the cement mixer. You do not tag the inspector. You just turn the porch light on and let the neighbors notice the lights are working. And about that hotel hallway clip, because I know somebody is already typing it, the energy in that footage was not the energy of a man fighting for his queen. That was the energy of a man managing the weather he chose to walk into. That was logistics, not love, and a woman being loved in logistics will always end up on a timeline trying to download the validation she cannot find offline. Highlight that line. Underline it twice. Send it to the homegirl whose contact name for her man is in lowercase letters with no emoji. She needs this video more than Claressa does, because at least the champ has gold in the closet to fall back on. Some of you are folding bed sheets for a man who has never folded yours, and there is no belt, no trophy, no record waiting for you on the other end of that loyalty. Now, I want to bring in the psychology, because this is where the autopsy gets surgical. There is a clinical concept called proof-seeking behavior. It happens the moment a person stops posting to share and starts posting to prove. Prove the relationship is solid, prove the man is loyal, prove the haters lost, prove the peace is real. The cosmic punchline is that every additional post screaming the proof loud enough to be heard ends up confirming the exact opposite of what it set out to argue. The loudest, unbothered person in any room is always the most bothered person in that room. That is not commentary. That is documented behavioral science. When you map Claressa's posting frequency against her emotional fault lines, the chart looks like a heart monitor in the final scene of a thriller. Spike, spike, spike. Every time something fractures behind closed doors, the keyboard becomes a confessional, and the strangers reading the diary are charged a subscription she doesn't even know she's collecting on. Here is where I have to slow down and protect the part of this story that actually matters most, because I refuse to let it get lost in the noise. Picture a 12-year-old girl in Flint, Michigan in 2026. Her family is still struggling, her city is still struggling, and the only reason she hasn't given up is because Claressa Shields exists. To her, Claressa is proof that a black girl from a forgotten zip code can shake hands with presidents, sign autographs on 3 continents, and walk into a movie theater to watch her own life on the big screen. Now, picture that 12-year-old unlocking her phone today, and the only Claressa content the algorithm is serving her is a tagged blog post about somebody else's husband, a subliminal at another woman, a screenshot of a private conversation, a paid placement begging strangers to validate a relationship. What did we just teach her? We taught her that no matter how high she climbs, the ladder eventually folds her back into the same comment section she was trying to escape. The legacy is not being attacked from outside. It is bleeding from inside, and there is no jump rope drill on earth that trains a fighter to defend against her own thumbs. Do not get it twisted, because I see the comment forming already. Cutie, she is human, she is allowed to date, she is allowed to post, she is allowed to live. Of course she is. Nobody is asking her to enter a monastery. The fight is over the gap between living and live streaming, between sharing and farming, between using social media and being walked around by it on a chain. Right now, the algorithm is the dog walker, and Claressa is the one tugging behind it. Every yank gets a bark. Every bark gets a comment. Every comment gets a refresh. The loop tightens. The loop tightens. The loop tightens. That is not a love story. That is a hamster wheel with Wi-Fi, and the hamster is paying for the wheel out of her own bank account. The wheel is squeaking. Nobody is going to warn her. The receipt cannot be refunded. The warranty expired the second she pressed post. Now let me say the thing that is going to make somebody mad, but it has to be said, because that is why you tap my videos. The reason this energy reads frantic instead of fly is because somewhere underneath all the captions, Claressa knows. She knows how this began when it began. She knows the timeline. She knows the optics. She knows what the streets remember. So no matter how many subliminals fly, no matter how many blog placements she funds, no matter how many hallway clips she drops, the public has already filed the original receipt. Every loud post is a fresh sticker pressed over the original label, and we can all see the corner peeling. We can all see the glue failing. We can all see the seam. Frantic is what loss looks like when it refuses to take its seat. Fly is what peace looks like when it finally exhales. And in this fight, Frantic is winning every round on every scorecard, and there is nobody in the corner willing to throw the towel. But here's the twist nobody is ready for, and this is why you stayed this far. I do not actually believe Claressa is the villain in this story. I think she is the warning label, the cautionary chapter every gifted young woman with a platform needs to read before she ever steps inside a man's unfinished story. Because the moment you walk into somebody else's incomplete chapter, you spend the rest of your own narrative trying to convince the audience that you belong inside his. That is a fight you cannot win in the ring or out of it. You cannot jab a public perception. You cannot uppercut a timeline. You cannot knock out a decade of culture. The only counter is silence, growth, and time. And silence is the one weapon she keeps refusing to lift. So she swings at the wind, and the wind swings back, and the wind is undefeated. The wind does not need a publicist. The wind does not tag the shade room. Let me speak directly to the women of the regime mafia for 1 full minute, because this is a rescue, not a roast. The behaviors that look so loud on a celebrity profile are the same quiet ones some of you are running on a Tuesday night, posting about a man who barely posts you back, throwing subliminals at his ex, tagging blogs to make sure people see the photographs, public spats, public makeups, public. Real love is the most boring thing on the internet. Real love does not require a cosign from a gossip page. If your relationship cannot survive 30 quiet days, it is not a relationship. It is a marketing campaign. And every campaign goes broke the moment the funding runs out. The funding always runs out, without warning, without a forwarding address, without even a goodbye text.
And here is the kicker I have been holding for the back half, because you earned it. The most dangerous thing about everything Claressa is doing right now is not what it does to her this week, it is what it does to her in 2031. The internet has the memory of a brick wall with a photographic mind. Every tag, every screenshot, every paid placement, every late-night rant, every reactive caption is being archived in real time by people you will never meet. One day, when the dust finally settles, future endorsements will read those receipts. Future opponents will weaponize them. Future documentaries will frame them. Future her, 10 years older, sitting on a couch with a glass of wine, is going to scroll back through this exact stretch of time and physically wince. That single wince will ring louder than every championship belt on the wall. The body keeps score. The internet keeps screenshots. There is no greater tragedy than a woman with a trophy room who begged a comment section. Pull the curtain back on something else the blogs will never tell you on camera. Every time Claressa tags one of those pages, she is not just paying for a post, she is paying for an opinion. The moment your name lands inside a gossip blog comment section, your life stops belonging to you. Strangers vote on it. Strangers grade your relationship. Strangers decide whether you are soft enough, smart enough, pretty enough, or worthy enough to stand next to that man. The cruelest twist is that those same strangers do not know your middle name, will not pick up the phone if you collapse, will not show up at the funeral, will not pay your rent, but their words will still echo inside your skull when you are alone in the bathroom at midnight, wondering why none of this feels like the fairy tale you imagined when you hit submit. That is the price of the post, and the price keeps climbing while the value keeps dropping. Slow down with me here because I know this video is hitting somebody who has felt invisible inside their own relationship. The trap Claressa is wedged inside is not a celebrity trap. It is a human one. When the person you love makes you feel small at home, the temptation is to feel big somewhere else, and social media offers that feeling at the lowest barrier to entry on planet Earth. One viral reel and suddenly thousands of strangers are calling you beautiful, powerful, magnetic, but the secret nobody puts in the manual is that the high lasts about 45 minutes. After that, the likes flatten, the comments slow, and you are right back inside the same quiet living room with the same quiet man, feeling smaller than you did before you posted. So you post again and again. The drug is not the man, the drug is the noise, and the noise is rotting your nervous system one ping at a time. It is eating your sleep, it is eating your peace, it is editing your face faster than time ever could. For the deep dive crowd, here's the data point nobody else has put on camera. Lay Claressa's posting spikes out on a calendar like a detective. Map them, track them. The biggest waves of her loudest posts line up almost perfectly with moments of forward motion in Remy's career. A tour announcement, a magazine feature, a red carpet hit, a new business venture. Every step forward Remy takes, the volume on Claressa's page jumps a notch. That is not coincidence. That is an emotional algorithm. That is a woman whose current relationship was built on a comparison and now cannot escape that comparison even when she wants to. She is shadowboxing a woman who is not even in the same arena. Shadowboxing is a beautiful training tool. It is a brutal way to live. Eventually, you wake up sweaty, exhausted, swinging at empty air while the woman you imagined was your opponent is on a magazine cover, smiling, completely unbothered. Let me hand you the final receipt before we land this plane, because this is the pattern history refuses to break. Every public love triangle in modern celebrity history has ended exactly the same way. The woman who fought the loudest lost. Every single time. The woman who stayed quiet, who let her work do the talking, who let the chapter close itself, walked away with the legacy, the bag, and the next decade. The woman who tagged the blogs, cried in captions, and left long comments under her own name became a meme, a footnote, a cautionary YouTube essay narrated by somebody like me. So the real choice in front of Claressa is whether to be the meme or the legend.
Right now, the meme is winning. The meme does not get residuals. The meme does not get a statue. The meme does not get an HBO docuseries with a moody soundtrack and a black woman's voice opening the trailer. So what do we walk away with, Regime Mafia? What do we put in our pocket and carry into our own week? Here is the formula, plain and simple. Your peace is your brand. Your silence is your power. Your privacy is your runway. The moment you trade those three for a repost, the internet stops being a tool and starts being a leash. Claressa has the talent, the resume, the city behind her, the ring behind her, the gold behind her. None of that is in danger from any opponent walking the planet. All of it is in danger from one device in her own hand. Until somebody close enough and loved enough to be honest with her takes that phone away for a real 72 hours, this spiral will keep tightening, and the legacy will keep dripping, drop by drop, tag by tag. The bucket is almost full, the stain is setting into the floor, and that kind of stain does not lift in the wash. You know I do not leave a story without leaving a door open for grace, because grace is real. Claressa, on the off chance the algorithm flings this video onto your screen, this is not a hit job, this is a hand. Lock the phone in a drawer, hit the gym, hit the studio, visit your mother, take a trip with no service bars, let the streets miss you, let the blogs forget your name for a full 7 days. I promise on everything, when you reappear, you will reappear with a quiet power that no paid post on earth could have bought you. Because the women we end up remembering are not the ones who screamed the most. They are the ones who disappeared at the right moment and returned with proof the world could not argue with. You already have everything required. You just have to stop handing it away one screenshot at a time. And to my regime mafia, if anything in this report tapped a nerve about your own habits, your own posts, your own relationship, your own quiet need to be witnessed, do me one favor. Do not scroll past the feeling. Sit with it. That feeling is the same feeling Claressa is trying to drown with notifications, and the only way out of that loop is to feel it instead of feed it. Drop a heart in the comments if it touched you. Tell me where you stand, wedding or war, reconciliation or receipts. I have my own theory, and trust me, I am cooking up a part 2 that is going to take this conversation somewhere none of these other channels will dare to go. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay close, because the regime mafia does not just gossip, the regime mafia decodes. As long as the celebrities keep performing, your girl cutie is going to keep translating. When the timeline screams, the woman who walks away wins. When the blogs cash checks, the woman who keeps her name out of their mouth wins. That is the formula. That is the cheat code Claressa cannot find because her thumb refuses to stop refreshing. Take the lesson. Protect your peace like your rent depends on it, because it does. The internet is a casino dressed up as a community, and every post is a chip you slide across the felt. The house always wins. The house is the algorithm. The house is the blog. The house is the stranger eating dinner off your pain. The next time your thumb hovers over share, ask one quiet question. Who is this for? If the answer is anybody other than future you, lock the phone and walk away. Future you will say thank you. I love y'all. Stay loud, stay loyal, stay watching. I will see you on the next one.